Hi, this is Dave Perry, and you're watching Retro Gaming Revival live.
Good evening. It is
Hello.
Tuesday, not Monday. It is Tuesday. It is just after 8 o'clock. So it is time for Retro Gaming Revival Live. We have got a good show lined up this evening. We are missing Blunners, so we might have to get Blunwatch on the go again. I can't remember the phone number, but it does work. We'll figure it out, I'm sure. We'll get Dorbs to text it to us. So let's get straight into it. This evening, joining, we have Tim.
Hello, I've got my hands disappearing. Hello.
Your hand and your head disappears, and sometimes your drink's bottle. It's the way it goes when you're live. And our guest of honor this evening is the wonderful Sammy Jinx. So welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on. How are you doing? You all good?
I'm good. Yeah. We were just talking technical difficulties behind the scenes. So to be honest, I'm just really glad it's working. First hurdle.
Excellent. That's always the good start. Always a good start, making things work. Okie dokie. So we've got quite a lot to run through and talk to you about tonight. So let's jump in with the first topic, which we ask everyone that comes onto the channel, which is early gaming memories. So what is it about video games, or what was it that really got you sort of into the sort of hobby of video gaming?
Oh my goodness, it feels like a lifetime ago, because I guess it technically was. I think, like a lot of people in our generation, the Mega Drive sort of got me hooked in a way that previous consoles and things didn't. My earliest happy memories are playing Sonic the Hedgehog on the Mega Drive with my big sister, and I'm pretty sure she did the trick where my controller wasn't plugged into anything. Loved it anyway, and then eventually she let me play as Tails on Sonic 2. And what's really cute is my sisters were a lot older than me. My nieces and nephews were my age, so then it kind of got passed to me, and I was teaching the nieces and nephews how to play. So their favorite games now, start with Sonic the Hedgehog, which is lovely. So it's like gone through the generations. The first console that I remember owning and becoming ridiculously attached to was my GameCube. That's what really got me into the bigger games. So I'd only really played a little bit of N64, a little bit of PlayStation, had a Saturn for a small time as well, but not really been the Mega Drive that I loved until I got the GameCube, and that just kind of blew my mind, the possibilities of all the JRPGs and things, and that's kind of where my love of games was solidified.
Yeah, I think the idea of JRPGs is going to be a fun one tonight, because that's definitely something me and Tim have quite a lot of time for. So that's definitely going to be a tangent. We're going to come back to that later. That's not even on the list of things to talk about. So we're going to come back to JRPGs. So with things like the Mega Drive and stuff, was there a particular game or a particular franchise on the Mega Drive that sort of had you hooked on when you first started there?
Super cliche, just Sonic the Hedgehog. I absolutely loved that guy. And there is no doubt in my mind at some point tonight you will meet Odin, my little cat. And he's obsessed with Sonic the Hedgehog too. So we actually go to sleep watching Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons together. But yeah, it really was the Sonic franchises that got me. And then I had this really cool game that was Mickey Mouse's Castle of Illusion. And then the second one was Donald Duck. I can't remember what it was called.
But it was
like, no, it wasn't. It was like an Arabian Night kind of game. Anyway,
is that the one where you can be? Is that the one where you can be? Yeah, World Release where you can be Mickey or Donald Duck, and they have like the blankets where they turn things into flowers.
No.
No, it's not that one.
Oh man.
I want to
another
say it's
Donald Duck game.
Quackshot, but I'm pretty sure every time I've talked about this game before, people have shown me Quackshot, and it's not that. And it was the same with Castle of Illusion. So I tried to describe Castle of Illusion to people, and they'd talk about, is it World of Illusion? The other Mickey Mouse game where I was on the flying carpet. And I was like, no, Castle of Illusion is where it's at. But they did a double game on the Mega Drive that had a Donald Duck game in it, and it was kind of like Aladdin, but you were Donald Duck. It was
okay. We're going to have to find that. If anyone in the chat knows that, that's got to happen. Or Tim's going to have to get on Google. I can see Tim's face light up.
Yeah, I'm having it.
A lot of the time, I'm pretty sure I'm crazy. But then, so for a very long time, I bragged to everyone about my.
Well, the only thing is, I'm just looking at this first one now. And you say it's not Quackshot, but there is a Mega Drive dual game, which is Castle of Illusion and Quackshot.
Quackshot. Maybe it is Quackshot.
So there is a dual cart.
I'm just so sure every time I talk about it, people say Quackshot, and then we look at screenshots and it's not that. But maybe it is. Maybe it is Quackshot. Someone said on mine, I remember the game, but I don't remember what it's called. It must have been Quackshot. It must have been.
There is one. I remember this actually. I've never thought of this here. There's one which is called, I can't even pronounce that. Maul Mallard. It's like a kung fu one. And it's Donald Duck, but he's wearing like martial arts stuff.
Oh,
that doesn't sound Arabian Nights either. That doesn't sound like it either, does it? I'll keep looking. I'm going to be hunting now.
It must be Quackshot. It must be Quackshot. But anyway, Castle of Illusion is where it was at anyway. That I remember there was a level on there where you were jumping through the spider webs, and it was beautiful. Like the music was beautiful, the way all the raindrops were glistening on the spider webs was beautiful. I just loved it. And then I had a game, another one, which no one ever believed me was real, called Captain America and the Avengers. And it was basically like Streets of Rage. But the Avengers, and that was dope too. So
that.
Why did people not think that was real? Like I've heard of that and played it.
I don't know. I guess I'm older than a lot of people like try and talk to games about. So trying to tell them that this existed, they were like, no way, people would know that. It would be a bigger deal, and it should be a bigger deal because it's awesome. But
I think it would have been a bigger deal if back then, when we were all liking comic books and video games and stuff, it wasn't the thing that got you beaten up in the playground.
That's true.
I'm sure it would have been a huge deal.
I think Captain America and Iron Man weren't like the big names back then. Like they obviously became big from the movies, but Marvel sold loads of the rights. Like the big selling ones, most popular was like X-Men and Fantastic Four and things like that, which they sold to Fox. So they only made Captain America and Iron Man big since in the last, how long has it been around for? Obviously like 15 years, I want to say.
12, 13 years.
Well, that's right, 15. So before that, I don't think the Captain America game would have actually been a big deal back then. Like, not like it would, not if it was released now.
Yeah, it's really I think it's one of the pricier games as well. Maybe. Right, there's a few people asking there. Well, Dorbs is asking, are you from Yorkshire?
No, good luck trying to place my accent. I get told it's fake British all the time.
Fake British? What's fake British? I don't even know what fake British would sound like.
That's what I said. Of all the accents that I would try and fake, it probably wouldn't be a really rubbish, mangled British one. But when I was working for the comic book company down in London, we do a lot of videos doing like comic book reviews and stuff. We had quite a big reach with that. And the amount of Americans that'd be like, why are you putting on that weird accent? I'm like, it's not weird. It's just me. Just northern.
Northern. Yeah, so it's definitely a northern accent.
Yeah.
Dawes was trying to place money on Barnsley, I think.
Barnsley. I don't even know where that is. Sorry.
Anything north of Portsmouth and London for me is the north. It's just
the Watford Gap, apparently, is where the divide is.
Oh, really?
But I'm from Macclesfield, so I grew up in Cheshire, and now I live in Staffordshire. So I don't know. I think I'm just trying not to sound like a Stokey. No offense, Stokies.
I think I'm going to abandon the search for this mystery Donald Duck game. I do think looking at the pictures, I think perhaps what's happened is you've got memories of Quackshot and you've got memories of World of Illusion. Because in World of Illusion, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck are on a magic carpet. But then there's a dual cartridge, which was Castle of Illusion with Quackshot. And I think perhaps your memories smerged 3 games together and created a fourth unknown game.
Something that I would do. So maybe you're right. It must be Quackshot.
Amazing. I mean, we're going to... if you've seen screenshots, you don't think that's it.
have you looked at screenshots of World of Illusion with Donald Duck and checked it's not that?
I'm adamant I've never played World of Illusion, but I am also talking to a doctor at the moment about my crazy memory. So I feel like, let me just double check that. So we think it's Quackshot because that's one that's on a double. It is Quackshot,
so, yeah.
Yeah. I've just searched it straight away, and I can remember the little level where you're on the plane. Yeah, it's Quackshot.
Amazing.
Okay.
Mystery solved.
Everyone in the past that's had this conversation with me, and I've said it's not Quackshot and it's not World of Illusion. I was 50% right.
Well, we'll take it. We'll take the exclusive. We have the exclusive. It was Quackshot, so we'll run with that.
Thank you.
Excellent. We've got a lot of people joining in the chat now, which is great. And Tess apparently is just down the road from you, which is great. Tess was on a couple of weeks ago. There you go. The world gets infinitely smaller as soon as you start talking to other people.
Yeah. You go online and realize actually there are cool people outside. You just don't go.
I know. Yeah, exactly. So moving on, because you said about the GameCube being something that really was like your real jam, your real thing. Was there a particular game on the GameCube that really did it for you?
Skies of Arcadia. Absolutely. To this day is still one of my absolute favorite games ever. I very stupidly tried to get the logo tattooed on my thumb. For anyone that tries to get hand tattoos, don't get big black ones. It doesn't work. I have Pikachu on this side. That one's okay, but that one.
Oh, she's cute.
But yeah, Skies of Arcadia. There was a lot of feels in that game. It was the first time for me, that was like an open world exploration thing for the first time, really.
Yeah.
For anyone that hasn't played it, I highly recommend it. It is something that I'll be playing on my Twitch in the future because I want to be able to use my channel to let people play games that they probably would never get to play outside of an emulator, because some of the games that I have are from when they first came out and now they're so expensive. Like the Pokemon Gale of Darkness game, Skies of Arcadia, the Tales of games, they're ridiculous money now. So a lot of people would never get to play them. That's what I want to do with my channel. So I think everyone needs to play Skies of Arcadia. It blew my mind, absolutely, and still does.
I'm going to throw it out there and say that I haven't actually played it, so that's going to have to be on a list of get. Well, there's many lists of games to play, but
yeah, put it on that list that you never look at again because it's overwhelming.
It's the long list. I'm just looking even at like modern games that I'm playing at the moment and thinking, Christ, when am I going to get to that? And normally because I get addicted to one particular thing and end up sticking with that for months, and then it's like, I do have other games to play, but. Yeah, but
I think I try and rather than focusing on like a games list, I tend to like jump between a console. I'll be like, right, I'm going to stick to playing on my PlayStation for a bit, playing on my Switch for a bit, or playing like VR games, and then I'll just tackle my back catalogue for that console for a bit, and then I jump to another console because otherwise it's just too many. Especially like Game Pass and stuff. I spend more time actually browsing Game Pass and thinking about what games I could play than actually playing them. So you have to just strategically plan what you're going to do next.
I could be that organised. We definitely are. We absolutely are. Yeah. It's a proper first world problem, but
I was going to say it's not exactly bad. It's like, I've got too many games to play. Well, it's
I remember growing up. It's like you get a game and that was it. That one game would be 2-3 months pocket money. So that is it. You sit down, you play it, and you finish it and get your money's worth. But now you can just pick and choose anything. All the time.
I think it's what made us persevere with games that we perhaps didn't have a good first impression of and just carry on. Because you're not going to get another game until like Christmas or birthday or something. It's like, right, this is the only new game I'm going to have for a while. So you persevere with it. And that's how a lot of the time you discover some of these games are actually really decent. Whereas now if you start playing a game and it doesn't hook you immediately, you can just start playing something else.
Exactly. So, we miss out on a lot. It's the same with music, isn't it? 'Cause you don't have to buy albums anymore. You can just listen to the one track and you don't have to find all the other gems that are on the album. Probably missing out on a lot.
I mean, I think I say this more than I say other things in life. Actually, as you can tell, physical media is a big thing for me. So if I can't do. I have Spotify, but I don't like pay for the premium thing. I just have it for when people go, check this out, and I can listen to it. Because if I had Spotify or Apple Music, I don't think I'd ever listen to an album properly ever again.
No, you're absolutely right. I stopped paying maybe about 2 or 3 months ago, and I've discovered so much wicked music since. Because obviously you have to do the shuffling, you have to listen to the recommended songs. I'm kind of glad, actually.
I'll tell you one thing I do, which I recommend actually. It's quite a good way of getting something playlists. Is I have a playlist for the year and I add one track a week. So by the end of the year, I've got a 52 track playlist. And it might be someone's recommended that song that week, or I've heard it somewhere, or it might just be a song I chose to listen to. And by the end of the year, I've got a good mix of different types of music. And then the recommended songs it plays on the back of that are a really good mix of songs. So now I've been doing that for a few years now. So I've got like a 2019 playlist, a 2020 playlist, and then I can have like a big playlist that takes bits from each of them.
Oh, what a lovely way to remember the year as well.
Yeah. It's good because actually, if I'm listening to it and I hear a song, it's like, it reminds me of like somebody's birthday party where that song was played. So yeah, it's a good way of reminiscing about the year at the same time.
That's a very good idea. I like that.
Dude, that is super organized. Like I sometimes forget that I've got stuff on my phone, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll put that track on, and you listen to that for a month solid.
Sometimes I have to admit there's a bit of a backlog. Like sometimes I'll be like, how many weeks into the year are we? So I just Google how many weeks into the year. It's like currently 37 weeks into the year. It's like, okay, I've only got 33 tracks on my playlist and need to add a few. So it does require a little bit of micromanagement.
That's cheating.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw a curveball in now, just purely because you got my mind thinking, Tim, when you were talking, and you, Sammy, about only having one game at a time and really having to persevere with it. So I'm going to throw it to you, Sammy, first. What is a game from your childhood then that you know was, as an adult, is really shit, but you just continued to play it because it was the new game, or it was your new game?
All my games were dope.
Oh, I don't believe you.
Absolutely. What that I would try and play now and realise was rubbish.
Yeah, why not? Because I've definitely got one in the back of my head that I suddenly thought, as soon as you both said those things, one game came to my mind immediately, and I remember persevering and playing the hell out of it, even though I think I was just like, this is awful, but stuck with it.
So I probably wasn't. It was more of like late teens, really. There's an anime called Vampire Hunter D, which I absolutely love. And I discovered they did a game for it on the PlayStation 1. And it's horrendous. It's like the first Resident Evil where I remember the first Resident Evil game. I never finished it because you start off and there's been like a fire in the town. There's like a police car in the road, and I couldn't figure out how to walk around this police car, so I binned it off. And Vampire Hunter D was exactly the same. The camera angles were shocking. You guys basically like 3 blocks. It was so bad, but I wanted to love it so hard because it was from the anime. And over the years, I've gone back to it maybe 4 or 5 times. And I just can't get into it, and I'm really trying, and I brag to people. I'm like, I've got that on PlayStation, whatevs. And then hope to God they never ask me about it any more than that, because it's really bad.
Yeah, I think anything with the word vampire in it as well, when you're back then, you'd think that's got to be good.
You would hope so, right? He's got a little demon in his hand and everything. I mean, when you get into it, you kind of get with the flow a bit more, but there isn't much of a flow, really. And it's one of those where there's like only one path to take. So you've got the big map showing all the path and the doors coming off it, but there's only one way to go, really. So that's redundant, but it was fine.
Okay. Tim, I'm going to throw that to you as well. I'd be interested.
I don't know if this is the first one that's come to mind. I don't know if it's completely fair to say it's rubbish, because it is a good game. But I really struggled with Tenchu Stealth Assassins, because I really wanted to be stealthy in that game. Because it's got stealth in the name. And actually the game is not really geared for you to be that stealthy. Like, there's stealthy moments, but the rest of the time you do actually need to just confront the guards and fight them. And I really wanted to like it. I really wanted to be good at it. And every time I played a level, I really wanted to perfect the level and not get spotted. And it's really hard to not get spotted. It kind of wants you to be seen at different points and fight. So it was never as good as I hyped it up to be in my mind. I think I go back and play it, I think, oh, actually this isn't that good. But at the time of playing it, I thought it was amazing. I go back and play it years later, I was like, oh, it's actually not that great stealth game compared to something like Metal Gear Solid from the same sort of time. Like Metal Gear Solid, you can be far more stealthy, right? But yeah, it's really hard to be stealthy in Stealth Assassins.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Tenchu on Magstream the other night, Sammy. So it was like,
I was literally thinking that. I've not heard about that game in so long, and then twice in 2 days we're talking about it.
Wow.
Madness. I'm going to throw it out there. Batman Forever on the Super Nintendo. Fucking.
I've always wanted that game.
No, you don't.
Okay.
It's so bad. It's like
Really?
graphically, it's kind of cool, but it
Okay.
plays. I mean, the movie is a guilty pleasure for me. It's not the
Yeah,
best
I'm a
Batman
huge
movie.
Batman fan.
I feel bad for Val Kilmer and I feel bad for Batman Forever because it's just a pantomime, but it's a fun one. I like it. It was the first time I got to see Batman in the cinema. But the game is so bad. It's made by Acclaim. I think it's Acclaim, and were doing Mortal Kombat and everything. So they basically just took the Mortal Kombat characters, put Batman's skin on it, and they made this awful game. It's really not good. Emulate it and play it. Do not
the
buy
amount
it.
of times I've seen it and been so close to buying it. Now I kind of want it more.
It's weird, isn't it? Because you get like some movie franchises have excellent games. So it's really hard to tell. Like some of them are cash grabs and they're shockingly bad. Like if it's like the game is based specifically on the film, it's normally quite flawed. But if it's like a game that's based around the franchise that the film is on and it's like a unique story, it's normally a lot better. I think like when they're trying to make a film based on a movie that's coming out, the developers only get like limited info on it. They don't actually get to see the film before they make the game, and they're making the game before the films come out. So often it's like it's not great, but yeah.
This franchise annoys me on exactly that tangent. Jurassic Park. I am probably the biggest Jurassic World fan you will meet. I love them, and I keep buying games. And you can't play as the dinosaur. What the hell is that about? So many of them, you're the person killing the dinosaur. I'm like, that's not what I'm here for.
Yeah,
there are some Jurassic Park games, aren't there? You can play as like the first one, the Mega Drive I had was brilliant. I think that's still one of my favorite Mega Drive games. You can play as Grant, or you can play as a raptor.
Oh, really?
That first Jurassic,
I bought one. I don't think it was that one. I bought one on the PlayStation, and is it Rampage Edition or something?
No, it was just called Jurassic Park. I think it was one of the first ones. I think it was probably the first Jurassic Park game that came out on the Mega Drive. I think Rampage Edition was a follow-up.
I bought this because I thought you could be the dinosaurs.
I think that is that's the slightly harder one to get hold of, and I think that might even be the slightly more expensive one. But I don't know.
Well, it looks like you can be the dinosaur.
Yeah, that it does look very similar.
That's why I bought it.
The first one you definitely could, because at the beginning you get into play and you could be Grant or a raptor.
Right.
I think arguably playing as Grant was actually better though. I think the Grant campaign was the better campaign of the two, but I always liked being able to be a raptor. There's a move you could do. We could grab the guards and like hold down the button, and he would pick them up and like shake his head with the guard in his mouth and then throw them. So that was really fun.
What I want to do with my days. I just want to be a dinosaur and mess everyone up. That's it.
Right, if anyone in the chat has a spare copy of the original Jurassic Park on the Mega Drive, hit Sammy up. I think this needs to happen. You can experience running around as a raptor.
I bought stuff like this specifically to play for the first time on streams. They're games that I've always wanted, never played, so everyone can see either the joy or the disappointment at the same time as me. So
okay,
I like when we do it.
You have to jump on this one as well. I know Mags put it out there. Jurassic Park on the Super Nintendo. That game was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that was so good. It was like Zelda top down as you're walking around Jurassic Park as Alan Grant, and then when you go into buildings, it came first person, and it became really terrifying. You'd open a door and there'd be a like 2D, 3D raptor there, but it was like
what's that one called?
I think that's just called Jurassic Park.
Okay. On the
just
SNES.
on Super Nintendo. Yeah. I know there's a remaster of it coming out on modern consoles as well, because I know Limited Run are doing the physical, so it's on the way.
Really?
It is on the way.
Do you think it'll be on the SNES collection then?
Possibly. I'm gonna have to look into it myself, but I'll end up giving Limited Run my bloody paycheck, I'm sure, because I'll need the disc and slippery slope.
I've just searched for that game, and I remember being on holiday, like Rail or Blackpool or somewhere, and they had it in a shop, and I bought it, ran home to play it, and then realised I didn't have the SNES anymore. I had the N64, so you can play it.
Oh no!
So I was so close to playing a good Jurassic Park game, yet so far
it is good as well. It is good. Okay, so I'm going to steer us quite nicely because we're talking a lot about favorite games and favorite franchises. So, do you have a favorite game and do you have a favorite console? And the two don't have to be mutually exclusive.
That is tough. So the GameCube is my favorite console for sure.
Okay.
I can't really tell you why, other than there was so many games that I played for the first time on there that probably opened up, like I said earlier, my love for the JRPGs. So the Tales of games, even Sonic Adventure 2, I still believe is the best Sonic game to this day.
Great.
The hours I put into those Chow Gardens are unreal, and the soundtrack was phenomenal. Everything about Sonic Adventure 2 was just perfect. But in terms of actual game, like franchises, there aren't many franchises that I've stuck with game wise, besides even the Tales of games. That, like, there were so many of them now. I wouldn't really say that they're one of my favorite franchises anymore. Tales of Symphonia is one of my favorite games, but I'd probably say the Breath of Fire franchise.
Oh, nice.
Breath of Fire 4 is in probably my top 3 games. I have a huge tattoo of the grass dragon from Breath of Fire 4, and then I've got Noise from Tales of Symphonia on the back of my leg as well, so it is up there. And Gears of War. Gears of War till I die.
Yeah. Good choice. Do you know, I don't think anyone has said Gears of War yet. That is a solid choice. Gears of War
the storyline's perfect. Just in case anyone feels like it, I haven't finished 5 yet because I was convinced that Marcus was going to die, and I don't have it in me to handle another heartbreak like that.
To ask, like, how far into it have you gotten? Because I was really into Gears of War for like the first 3.
Yeah.
And then they brought out another one before 4, wasn't it? Like Judgment or something?
Yeah, Judgment.
Yeah. And I had a group of friends where we would do the Gears of War campaign online co-op, like 4-player. Yeah. And we were really excited to play Gears of War 4-player, and we went to get playing. The campaign was only 2-player, and we're like, what's going on? And I just didn't play through that campaign, so I ducked out on 4 because we couldn't play 4-player anymore.
Yeah, that's me with Halo now, because there's no couch co-op, so I've got no time for Halo anymore.
Man,
that's another franchise I stuck with for a while and then dropped out. Like, I haven't played. What was the most recent Halo? I want to say Infinite.
Or is 5?
Is there another one after that?
Yeah, the latest one is Infinite.
Yeah, I've not played Halo Infinite. I've played all the other ones, but I've not played Infinite yet. I suppose I could because it's on Game Pass, but just haven't got to it yet. Yeah, Gears of War and Halo were definitely some of my top franchises on like the 360 era.
Yeah, that was like my branching into grown-up games, I think.
Yeah, no, Gears of War, that is, if they'd left that as like a solid trilogy, that would have been really cool.
Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah. I did like Judgment as like its own little thing, like a little standalone side quest that cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then obviously now there's a new squad. So it's Marcus's son, JD, and Kat. And I just want to be Marcus and stomp on everyone's heads. And when there was a slight chance that Marcus was going to die, I was like, nope. And my cousin was playing it at the time, and he was a bigger fan than me. So he basically finished the game in about a week. And I asked him, and he was like, I can't tell you. I don't want to ruin the game for you. And I was like, well, he must die. He must die. Otherwise you'd say. And I said, I'm not playing it until you tell me. And he told me 3 weeks ago, which I won't say here, just in case. So I think it's nearing time for me to finish.
Yeah, I'm surprised they've not done like a movie franchise of that. I think Gears of War would cater to a trilogy, wouldn't it? They should do. It's definitely very cinematic, isn't it?
It'd be beautiful.
You'd have to get that right director, the right vision, and not have, because I mean they did this with BioShock, which is oh man, like BioShock is borderlining a religious experience for me. And they had a similar thing. BioShock was getting really popular, and it was like, right, we want to do a movie. So they had Gore Verbinski was going to do the movie. It was bought by Universal. It was like $150 million budget. They confirmed it was going to be R-rated and 18 rated, and you're like, oh my god, this is happening. And then they had to slash the budget, and then they got rid of the director and changed all this stuff. And then Ken Levine, the guy that created BioShock, had like a dead switch in his contract where he could basically just pull the project from them. And he said it got to a point where he just went, yep, cool, no, taking it back, you're not doing it, because it was just becoming something it shouldn't have been. And you're like, oh man, in another universe somewhere there is a BioShock movie directed by Gore Verbinski, and it's
I feel for you.
It really, really sucks. But yeah, something like Gears of War would be great if it was on, Amazon Prime, if they were to like pump some money into that and do like a 8-part Oh man, that'd be cool.
Can you imagine? Well, I think maybe 2 or 3 times it has been confirmed that they're doing a movie, and there's been talks of like Dave Bautista being in it. Terry Crews wanted to be in it at one point. Like loads of really cool people were on board to be part of Dallas Squad, but I don't think it's ever actually gone anywhere, which is a shame.
Oh, it should do. Now you've mentioned Dave Bautista as well, because
right,
you know that guy can act. Like he's not just Drax. Yeah, exactly. Just trying to think of someone that would be big enough for that role. I was like, yeah, Dave Bautista. Yeah. What a good choice. Well, you heard it here first. If the Gears of War movie ever happens, someone's listening to us. We've been tapped in.
Please. I asked for so little on this world. Please.
Okay, Tess, all right. Yeah, fair point. She said, keep the faith. Waited 30 years for a Sonic movie.
True. Yeah. That is very true.
Yeah, we didn't wait 30 years.
Feel when you finally got it?
Yes, I think Tess really enjoyed it. So yeah, Tess, chuck in the chat whether or not it was worth the wait.
I still haven't watched 2. I haven't watched 2 yet. I need to watch that.
I liked the animated one they did. Was it in the 90s where Knuckles just had a cowboy hat for like no reason?
Yes, Metal Sonic in that was badass. Like introducing Metal Sonic in that was cool. We definitely had to wait a long time for a good Mario movie though. That was
whoa.
But that was
whoa. The 90s Mario movie.
It's
awesome. I have to keep on like remembering we're on YouTube and I have to be family friendly. But
no, you don't. It's fine. You can swear away. It's fine.
Oh well, it's the tits. Like that 90s Mario movie was so good. It's one of the few DVDs I have still.
It's very 90s, isn't it? It's
very 90s.
Like,
yeah.
As a kid, I remember loving it, and then as you got older, you'd watch it and you'd be like, "It's weird," and then you sort of it becomes so bad, it's good. Like
I think that's.
I can watch it with friends and it's fun. But it's definitely not Mario. It's just
I'm still a little bit traumatized because we're talking about games, movies based on games. Very recently, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and I said my favorite film based on games was Final Fantasy VII: Advent Children, and our good friend Goldtooth Gaming decided to hold up a copy. It was like, oh, is it this one, Tim? And he holds up a copy of Advent Children and just destroys it in front of the camera. So I was like, thanks for that.
Why? Especially
I don't know. He just likes chaos, Savvy. He likes chaos, and he likes. I don't think you've even seen it. I don't think there's a commentary in the film. I think he just wanted to troll me by destroying something I loved on camber.
Boys are weird.
I'm still not quite over it.
Yeah, we are weird. It's a strange thing. Yeah, it was minorly traumatic.
It's okay. I think he just did it to make people laugh, and I'm sure lots of people did. But I couldn't.
Not you.
No.
Amazing. So yes, Tess confirms she did love it. Good. It was Sonic. It was a good movie as well. That first one was just it had no right to be as good as it was. It was genuinely fucking great. I
love Jim Carrey. There isn't a lot you can do wrong in my eyes.
Yes, I would also agree with that. The guy's a legend. Okie dokie. I don't think I teed you up for this next segment. Everything else I did, and I completely forgot that this is a new feature that Tim's brought in. So much so that he's even got a new little segue bit that's gonna take up the screen. So let me get rid of this ticker, Tim, so you can have the full screen. So we are going to go to the Desert Island Games Room. Take it away, Tim.
Oh no!
I'll introduce it first, and then I'll do the intro. Right. So just to set a few rules. So we have got a Desert Island Games Room, and you're allowed to bring a game into the games room to keep. So far we have got Sonic 3, and we've got Outrun Coast to Coast. Those are the only 2 games that are in there. So I think Tess would be very happy if you decided to bring Sonic and Knuckles, because I think she really wants to bring both. You cannot have any compilations or collection games. So you can pick one game you can add to that games room. So you won't be able to put anything else other than the games that are in there. So now I'm going to introduce.
Go on, Tim.
We'll do the new video we're going to go to. So you can have a little think about it as you go to the Desert Island game. There we go. So that's the new.
I don't know. I was
the new intro.
Trying to look at my things. Like,
what would you bring to the games room?
See, I would have said Sonic Adventures 2, but we've already got a Sonic game in there.
That's all right. It's not the same Sonic
game. More than one Sonic game,
It didn't feel right. And also, why would you pick Sonic 3?
Well,
Anyway.
I think she wanted to do Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Was that Tess that picked that?
And I said, yes. She said pick
I like
Sonic
Tess.
3.
Tess can do no wrong. So I take that back. Sorry, Tess.
So she wanted Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but I said, you can only have one game. I think she's like, hopefully someone else will add and Knuckles. So if you wanted to do Test the Solid, you could just add and Sonic and Knuckles in there, and then we've got the combo.
I've never played Sonic and Knuckles.
Oh, then I don't know if
I know. I think I've got it on the Mega Drive collection as well, and I haven't played it, so I'm really sorry because that's probably me out of the gang now.
Not at all. It's good.
Yeah,
it's very good. One of my favorite Mega Drive actually is the same. Sonic 3 and Knuckles as a combination is fantastic. Okay. It is really, really good. So I definitely recommend playing through that if you're a Sonic fan.
God, I'm so stressed. Like, this is real life.
We can always come back to it.
It's a toss-up between Gears 3 and Sonic Adventure
2. Both good choices.
I think for the emotional damage it inflicted, I don't know if I could have that as my only game to play over and over again. So I'm going to go with Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay, Sonic Adventure 2.
It's in the room. Tim, when do we get to add our games to the room?
Maybe we could do it on an uncensored or something. We could take it in turns. Okay. I'm sure we'll find a suitable time.
Yeah, we can flip for who gets to put Final
Fantasy.
Which
that was on Dreamcast, or are you playing that on something else?
The GameCube version.
GameCube
version on the Dreamcast, but then Adventure 2 is on GameCube.
Okay, there we go. So we've got 2 Sonic games, no Mario games yet. So it'll be interesting to see where this all goes.
Splendid.
I'm hoping to have some stats at some point. Like we've got this many of this genre, this many of that.
That'd be interesting.
Thingy. So so far those are the 3 games.
Nice.
Excellent stuff.
Thanks for participating.
Okie dokie.
Thank you for asking me. It's nice to meet you in the desert room.
Right. So we are going to move on now to the topic of you, which is why you're here. So I've missed out an X. The Jinx as the name, is this sort of like an online persona, or is this just a name that's come with you as sort of like your old chat names, or?
No, so my first name when I was like gaming and things and in chat rooms and stuff online was Dark Embrace 666.
Oh, fuck
so cool. So for obvious reasons that did not follow me. And then I got into sort of modeling side of things when I was maybe 18, 19. And around that time I was obsessed with a show called Saved by the Bell. Don't know if you remember that.
Yes, who does?
So
yes, from Saved by the Bell.
My modeling name was Sammy Bliss, like Miss Bliss. I thought that was really cute. And then as I got older and I kind of sort of found myself a little bit more, and obviously I'm a little bit, it didn't really fit with the whole dark hair, tattooed sort of dirty goth thing I had going on. So for some reason, I can't remember why, but I just remember thinking Hi Jinx was a really dope name. Because the amount of times people say like, oh, don't jinx it. And I'm like, I can't help it because I am incredibly clumsy. But also it kind of looks cool. It looks edgy and cool. But in reality, like Hi Jinx and Jinx, it's like up to mischief, up to no good, a bit clumsy, a little bit of a scoundrel. So it just kind of fit more with who I am as a person. So I think the Jinx thing has been around for maybe 6 years, 7 years. Not that long, really, for how long I've sort of working and perusing the different industries, but hopefully mostly it's the one that everyone knows me by now. I think if you call Miss Bliss as like really cheesy modeling photos with you like bunny hats on and things, so don't do it if you can help yourself.
Okay, so that just means from this on we're going to have to like nickname you Bliss, so that's you've done it now. That's going to happen.
I did it to myself.
So is Jinx the name that you will go by when you do things like you said, like you're modeling, the cosplay and that kind of stuff?
You know, it's so weird because people will say Jinx and I won't know that it's me. But a lot of people do just know me by Jinx. And a lot of the time, especially in the gaming industry, people say, oh, this is Jinx. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's me. And I have to kind of remember that I have got this kind of split life. But normally within about 5-10 minutes of talking to someone, whatever kind of cool aura I've tried to put on has dissipated. So call me Sammy. It's fine. Makes me sound like I've got my life together and I know what I'm doing and I'm really cool, and I don't. So Sammy's fine.
Because I get it with Mag as well. When I first got introduced to Mag, it was like, oh, this is Mag, and I just immediately attributed that as his name. And then and then when we're like in the pub having a beer at OLL, and he's like, Mag, what's that short for? And he was like, Paul, and you're like, oh, right.
Yeah, same.
Fine.
Same. I remember people talking to me about Paul, and I was like, who? You're like, you met him. You were literally hanging out with him the night. I'm like, don't know you're on about Paul.
Yeah.
And we said, and I was like, oh. Well, yeah, I guess now you've said it, Mag wouldn't be his name. But yeah, it's so bizarre. So weird. Weird.
So it's got to happen now. We definitely need. It's still there, because I know he normally disappears around this sort of time because he's got his own stream that jumps on at 9. So can we just change your name by deed poll to Mag now, because it make life so much easier.
Yeah.
Funny stuff. Mr. Rick is in the chat in the house. How are we doing, Mr. Rick?
Hello.
We will get to your dedication, Mr. Rick, a bit later on. That is our Waller's Remastered section that we will be getting to. Yeah, I did tee you up for that, though. I remember that at least. Excellent. My brain is a leaky sponge bag at the best of times. So, yeah, I'm constantly forgetting what I have and haven't told people. Okay, so you're a community manager, and also quite well. I got introduced to you as a cosplayer. So for everybody watching, and also myself, what are you the community manager for?
Lots of different things. So community manager was a role I was given about 2 years ago. I started working with a comic book company, and they sort of I worked for them as a promo girl at a couple of different conventions. And after the second convention, they were like, look, we love your energy. We love how you talk to people. We love how you can connect with different people. We want to have that as part of the company. You know, they were a startup company. So we want you to help us build a community online and in real life, and help us host the conventions and things like that. And I kind of realized that I'd been doing that for years anyway in previous roles. I worked in IT for years, and I was like the link between the business and IT sort of requirements gathering, user acceptance testing, rolling out new software and stuff. So all of the roles that I'd loved over the years had all been about sort of connecting people and helping them, come up with ideas and projects and putting them in touch with the right people. And making sure the end result was what they wanted. So then when I started doing it in London, and they gave it a title, because down in London, everything's a job.
Yes.
Like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Community management, community liaison sort of thing. So that was for a year. And then when I left that, I'd made a bunch of different contacts that asked me to sort of carry on doing it for them. So I do a lot for the arcade club now. I do a lot of different event types there. I do a lot in the sort of modeling and photography world. I host a bunch of events. Every couple of months I'll have a different type of event on where I'll run a theme and then do like castings for different things. And I'm very lucky that I get to work with Simran sometimes on format. We've got some really cool projects coming up that will run alongside format and everything that he's trying to accomplish with that. There's a couple of music venues that I work with, so I host their social media for them. And then like TikToks, I hate making TikToks. I don't understand it. I feel like that's a generation above me. I am not one of those people that can walk around with a camera in my face, which is stupid, because obviously for blogs and things, you have to be comfortable with that. I hate it. I'll do that, but TikTok is beyond me. But I'll help people sort of understand the different algorithms and what works with different types of social media and things. So it's all about building, especially now, that real life community as well. I think we lost that for obvious reasons for a while, and no one kind of knew how to talk to people in real life. It's amazing how quickly those social skills drop off when you don't have to use them. Couple of months. So it's been really interesting, especially doing more with the cosplay community and different brands there. This weekend, for example, I'm hosting a Halloween shoot, but it's Scooby-Doo, so I'm obviously Scooby. But then we've got the Mystery Gang and the Hex Girls, and then with the second half of the day is going to be like different movie serial killers and stuff, and we'll make loads of content there. There's loads of different photographers, loads of different models come in to just get some really fun, cool Halloween images, but then hopefully they can then go away and use those images for their own portfolios, and then reconnect again and do their own events and things. So as much as I always say never again, that's where my passion is, creating these events and helping people to come together and providing them like a space and then helping them sort of figure out what they want from that and then where they go with it next.
Yeah, that sounds like a really awesome job.
There's a lot of waffle, wasn't it?
But
so basically, I just make friends and then help them make more friends.
But when you say it like that, that's but it does sound like a really interesting job, and you've got to be a people person for that, which of course you are. You're you know,
it's
lots of fun to talk
it?
to you.
I'd probably say I hate people more than anyone, but here I am.
Some people, I sort of I have to throw that with a caveat. Sometimes people are like all people. You're like, well, no, not all people. Just knobs over there, them ones.
But I think that's why I enjoy it more though, because I've meet people, you know, like Mag, like the guys from the arcade club, so many incredible talented cosplayers. You know, I've got a friend now called Mark who's built his 3rd Buster Sword. If you ever need a clown cosplayer, this is your guy. And then his partner Faye, she 3D printed a bunch of Harley Quinn stuff for me for one of my cosplays. I think it makes it so much more special when you do find those good people and you just want to hold on to them and help them achieve everything they've ever wanted to achieve, because good people are, you know, they are few and far between, the real good eggs.
I think it's mad actually looking at some of the things that people make themselves and do cosplay. Like watching, like, ironically, TikToks of people making a cosplay, and you see like the end result and it looks so professional. It's like, how on earth have you they must have just developed the skill set over time to be able to do all these amazing things. Like if I tried to make an Iron Man costume, I'd look like a guy wearing a bunch of boxes. And then you see people that make it, it's like, that looks like you just walked off a movie set. How have you made that with like styrofoam and a glue gun? Like, what on earth? And then people did. You see the process of making it. It's like, it's a real skill set. I think it's the end results just look fantastic sometimes.
Yeah.
It makes like the weapons and stuff as well people make.
I made my pyramid head cosplay. I had a lot.
Do you have the head? Have you got the head there?
The head's in the attic. I can't show you the head, but I can show you the sword.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty big. It's got my Kunimitsu mask on it, so ignore that. But yeah, it's kind of hard to show you because the screen's obviously a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so got the sword and the helmet for that. But like you say, that was a few years ago, and I had a lot of help doing that. And then last year, I tried to make a Bowser cosplay for the cosplay event that we held at the arcade club, and I made the shell, and I think I cried 3 times, and then just decided that's not for me. I know enough people now who are good at it. I don't need to upset myself like this anymore. So going forward now, I just met like little things like the mask and stuff I can do, but big build is just not in my skill set at all. A lot of appreciation for it.
Man, I'm gonna have to scroll. I'm presuming there's photos of Pyramid Head somewhere, because Silent Hill is that's a real some games really give me like proper religious experiences, and Silent Hill is one of my.
What did you think of the movies for Silent Hill?
Yes, can't wait for any of it. All of it. I want all of it now.
Right.
At the same time, on all screens, at all time, with the new movie playing. I just want it all. I feel like anyone that's a Silent Hill fan has just waited far too long for anything. And even when Silent Hill's bad, it's not awful.
It's not bad. No.
It's just it's average when it's bad, and when it's great, oh my god, it's What was it called? I want to say Revelation, but I don't think it was. The movie that they did in 3D. Oh yeah, Revelations.
But the opening credits for it, where it's just the movie title and all the ash falling. You watch that in 3D, man. Whew, blows my mind.
I mean, I have the movie twice because it's Silent Hill, and I had to have it. And I remember watching it at the cinema and went out with my mates, and they all came out and went, "That was fucking awful." And I was like, "Well, I kind of just filled in the blank. I filled in the blanks from the third game, and just was like, well, I kind of made sense of it, but I appreciate that it's not great." And what happened to Silent Hill? And then Christoph Ganzer said they're doing another one, which is great.
Which I'm buzzed for. I am excited for that. We're doing on the 27th. We're doing Halloween at the arcade club, and I've stupidly been put in charge of it. So straight away I was like, Silent Hill versus Resident Evil, straight up.
Oh
so I
my
want
God.
the nurses there, the zombies there. I'm going to take my pyramid head. I'm in talks with someone about being a Lady Dimitrescu, but I don't think she's going to do it. So if somewhere on here there is someone that would like to be either a Heisenberg or a Lady Dimitrescu, or wants to be a zombie or a Silent Hill nurse, hit me up for a gig at the arcade club, and we'll get you like free entry and, you know, +1s and stuff, and we'll just have a zombie apocalypse. I'm very excited.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Why
is that got to be all the way in Manchester? That's such a long
sorry,
drive
guys.
for us. We're about as far south as it gets, and
yeah.
Oh man, dude, oh my God, please, someone like cosplay Lady D and be tall. Put some like stilts on or
so
something.
The lady I was speaking to is a stilt walker, and I was like, could you do it as this character? But she stopped replying. Unfortunately, it happens a lot in like events and things, especially around Halloween. People get so many bookings. So I don't think I have her anymore, which is a shame. But I'm holding out hope for another one. Holding out hope. I can be the trader. Yeah,
Rick, you are a beautiful, beautiful man. Do not. And Dorb saying there he could be a zombie.
My brother's just said he's going to be a nurse. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, he ain't my brother, so yeah, go for it, dude. Like,
I mean, if I'm pyramid head, I suppose there's no reason why not. But
exactly, it could work. It could be good. we can just gender bend everything and see how that runs. Yeah. So you've mentioned there a couple of times that you do quite a lot of work for the cosplay community as well. So how did sort of getting into cosplay come about for you?
So I guess it's something that I've always wanted to do. I remember watching programs on BBC Three about it, about like the cosplayers and e-girls and stuff back in like the very early 2000s, before even e-girls were a thing. But I'd got into sort of the alternative side of things quite young. So I think I got my first tattoo when I was 18, and then that continued. So I kind of thought, I can't really cosplay with this tattoos. I've ruined that for myself now. And then I started going to Comic-Cons when I was maybe sort of 24, 25. And I think the first character I ever cosplayed was Raven from the Teen Titans.
Okay, cool.
And she's obviously like fully covered. Well, like hot pot, so you couldn't really see any of my tattoos or anything, so it didn't really matter. And I loved it. I loved it so much. Then I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to do cosplay for me. Not everything has to be work, Sam. And then lo and behold, I can't have a hobby without turning it into a job. But yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised with how quickly it took off. And I think because I wasn't just doing it, because I was already like doing quite well in the modeling industry anyway. And a lot of the time, it's hard to describe, but it's the same thing really. Anything that I'm doing in the modeling industry is cosplay, whether it's an actual character people know, or whether, you know, it's a set where I've been booked to be like a suave business lady or to show off a certain look or outfit. Everything's sort of acting in a way anyway. And this is just picking things that are more recognizable. So yeah, like I think I'd done quite well to get into the industry anyway and have a little bit of reputation for doing a good job at standing around, I guess. But then when I went into the character side of things, people were really excited for it, and that was lovely. And it meant that I could start going to conventions and meeting other people and having the little cosplay groups and things. And yeah, it just grew from there. And I feel very lucky to be able to do it as a job, but more importantly, to have like a place in it that I'm proud of. Do you know what I mean? Like people will come, you know, can you be this character for this event? And I'm like, oh my God, yes, please try and stop me. That's so exciting. So yeah, it kind of, once I kind of got over the, not everyone's looking at you, no one cares if you've got tattoos, I was like, oh, I can just enjoy this. And I was very lucky that it kind of grew with all the things I was doing.
Yeah, because a lot of the cosplays that are on places like your Instagram and stuff, they are really good. They're, you know,
thank you.
There's some really good ones there. Obviously sent Tim one of the photos you kindly sent for the thumbnail, because it was just like, man, I don't know anyone that does a good Tifa cosplay, and it's great. It's so good. That Tifa cosplay is like, that's a big tick.
And she has so many pockets. She's now one of my favorites to cosplay. So many characters don't have pockets, and she's got the little belt with everything. It's amazing. Yeah, game changer.
Gotta love a tactical belt for something. It's great.
Right.
Yeah. And also for Timeless, were you Tails at Timeless?
Yes, so that was, and I was so happy, so happy with that. That was one that I kind of, I guess, pieced together, made myself. And Tails is one of my favorite characters from anything ever, from growing up as a child and playing it with my big sister. I've always loved Tails. And then Faye, I knew did a Femme Sonic, so I reached out to her. A couple of years ago, I met a lovely couple, Sour Aries and his partner, who I actually met them because they were Sonic and Knuckles, and they'd made these leather jackets. So I was working for the comic book company at the time, and they walked past at the convention in these wicked Sonic cosplays with these beautifully hand-painted jackets. And I just stopped them and I was like, how is this? Please be my friends. And now we are really good friends, which is lovely. So I book them for a lot of gigs. I get to commission them for different projects and things as well, for, you know, making the cosplays and stuff. So it just kind of fit. And then when I said to Mag, how do you feel about a Sonic group? And he said, yeah. I was like, yes, I get to be Tails. Then I got mad at myself because I think I could have done a cool Shadow as well. So I think I'm going to have to go back and do Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow can come, but yeah, the Tails one was just, it was spot on. There's
Thank
some,
you. I was so happy with it.
You should be. It was really awesome. And
That's
there's some people that do really good cosplays, and I can't think what the channel is on YouTube, but you end up going down the rabbit hole sometimes, and something comes on, and you're like, that is insane. And it's a couple, I think they're married now, and they do a lot of Mario cosplays, but he does Bowser, but it's as if Bowser's kind of like human, just with horns and funny teeth, and they paint their face, and she does Peach and the various Mario brothers and stuff, and it's so good because it's just, you can tell what it is, but it's also theirs. It's not totally accurate.
I think that's my favorite thing when you really get into it. So I've had to do Peach a couple of times for different things. She's not a character I particularly vibe with, so I don't think I'll pull that one off particularly well. But I think you can really tell when someone's into the character and into the franchise, because they're able to put their own spin on it and it still be recognizable who it is. That's one of my favorite things, like bringing your characters to life in your own way, really.
Yeah. I mean, Dorps just chucked it in there. Mr. John Riggs at OLL this year he did a cosplay of Sonic the Hedgehog for a little bit, and it was so bananas. I'll find a photo and I'll ping it you. It was
please,
fantastic.
I'd love to see.
I do like Sonic cosplays. They're very cool because you've got to be quite imaginative with it. It's but when it works, and it works so well.
I think it's one of those ones that can very easily be cheesy and not rubbish. None of it's rubbish. It's all artistic and whatever, but like it can very easily go wrong, I think, when you're being like an animal. I'm very worried about Scooby-Doo this weekend.
Man, as soon as you said you're going to be Scooby-Doo, that's like, oh god, I can't wait to see what happens there.
I'm just really happy with the little collar, to be honest. If everything else looks rubbish, the collar's cute. So
yeah. Okay. So before we slide into the last couple of topics, if there are people watching that are thinking, I would love to get into cosplay, how is the best way to get into it? What would you say to someone is the best way to get into cosplay?
So I think what helps is having a good support circle around you. And for me, even though my best friends are gamers, they've never been into anything like that. So it was quite daunting for me going to conventions and things with them, because I'd always be the only one dressed up, which would make me feel even weirder. So I think try and use the channels and try and use the conventions, and there are always groups online. My inbox is always open for anyone who wants to get into cosplay, but I think it really helps finding a group that are passionate about the same things as you. If you can find even just, a Facebook group or an Instagram group or something, just to encourage you, because the scariest bit is going out there for the first time in something that you've made yourself. And I think the two biggest things I could tell you is no one cares. Actually, no one's looking at you at all. You're fine. If they are looking at you, you're probably at a convention where they're also looking at everything else. Don't worry about it. It's really not that, no one's going to be horrible to you. I know that sounds crazy because the world can be weird, but if you go into like Comic-Con and things, no one's going to be looking at you and saying horrible things. And if they do, you probably can't hear it anyway. So yeah, the first thing I'd say is find a good group that can support you and encourage you to go out and be the characters that you want to be and do the things you want to do. And also realize that no one's looking at you. No, everyone's so busy wrapped up in their own lives. No one's looking at you. Just do it. Just do what makes you happy, because before you know it, you're in your 30s wondering where the hell your life's gone, and then trying to get into all these crazy worlds. So
I mean, that's just good sound life advice, I think, let alone even just for getting into cosplay. I mean, yeah, that's going to go on a slogan, t-shirts, banners, all sorts now. That's just good life advice. So yeah,
if you can condense that rambling into a sentence, you're welcome to use it.
Now the whole thing, big box on t-shirts and
like
massive
a
t-shirts
and speech.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to work. I'll make it work.
Okay.
Amazing. So we've got links in the description to your Instagram, where there's a lot of your modeling pics and all your cosplays and stuff. And also quickly, because this is a new thing for you as well, you've now ventured into Twitch. So we've got your Twitch link on there as well.
Oh, thanks.
So before we dive into literally the last couple of topics, so Twitch is a new venture for you. You've mentioned it a couple of times in the stream. So what's brought you to Twitch?
Arcade Club kind of made me. So it's something that we've talked about for a long time. Dan, who I work with quite closely at the Arcade Club, he's very big on brand and having a brand and having brand awareness on every platform, but he doesn't want to be the one on the thing. He makes me go and do the thing. But I was he's very good at opening the doors for things. So he'll reach out to whoever online. He's the best. He'll reach out to whatever and then be like, I've got this idea, here's this pitch, here's this proposal, and here's Sammy who's going to do it. I'm like, right, okay. And then when we do things in real life, I'm the one that goes out and talks to people, and then I'm like, and here's Dan from the Arcade Club, and this is what we can do, and this is what we can offer. So we balance each other well. But he managed to get us in with Twitch, who agreed to let us host the official Twitch meetup in Manchester. So they've done one before, I think, up north. So this was the second ever Twitch meetup. And I said, I can't host a Twitch meetup and not have a Twitch account. I can't. I feel like such a fraud. So yeah, very quickly scrabbled together all the pennies from down the side of the sofa. And one of my friends is very good at computers, so he managed to source me like a secondhand computer. And then very thankfully, one of my friends, Scott, he runs a company called Enhanced Aim, who do all the peripherals, so the microphones and the cameras and the keyboards and things. So he hooked me up with that stuff just so I could have a presence ready for when we did the Twitch meetup. It's something that I've wanted to get into for a long time, but I'll be honest, in my little world, i.e. my head, I'm a really good gamer, and I don't want to go online and find out that actually I suck. So yesterday was the first time I've played a game online, and I was petrified. But I'd met Capcom a couple of weeks ago, and they very kindly gifted me a copy of Street Fighter 6 and said, when you start streaming, can you stream this? So I said yes. And I managed to finish the story. And I'm so proud of myself. It's tough. It's harder than any fighting game I remember playing. I haven't really played fighting games in years. Yeah, it was emotional. But I do, again, it's just another way to help build a community. And it's a wicked platform.
Amazing. Tim is our fighting games expert. He is heavily into Tekken and Street Fighter, and consistently beats the shit out of us whenever we do 2 players. We go to arcades. It's like, oh god, we've got to play Tim again. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's guilty gears, my dad.
Although it's, I get what you mean about going online though. As soon as I go online, it's you're entering a different like sphere of gamers. Like just being rich, actually, I always used to think I was quite good at Super Smash Brothers, and then I joined. I went to at OLL. They had a Super Smash Brothers tournament, and it turns out I'm not good at Super Smash Brothers. I'm just better than like the people in my local area. You know, I'm better than my friends that I used to play with at school, but I'm not better than anyone that like professionally plays Smash Brothers. So yeah.
I think I got kicked out of the tournament by a 12-year-old in some year, and I was like, but I love Smash Bros.
So I was playing against the computer on the hardest setting. I think it was up to like 9 or something, and I was consistently like, I got to a point where most of the time I was beating the computer on the hardest setting. But then once you play against a player that they play against each other, it's a different game. Like, with things like Tekken and stuff as well. Or what was it? I was playing something. I can't remember which game it was. It was a game I thought, right, I'm going to go online. and still we do. And I was just rubbish as soon as I connected online and was playing against any random person on the internet who wanted to fight me. I was like, no, I can't keep up with that. So
I've kind of set up my Twitch now that it's here for fun. You're not here to see someone be good at games. You're here.
You don't have to be. You don't have to be good to be entertaining, and you don't have to be good to enjoy it. You know, that's the thing I like about games. Actually, being good at games is not actually a prerequisite for enjoying them. So
no, you're right.
You can just enjoy it.
Yeah, right. Excellent. Okie dokie. So we are going to move into our last two topics. The first of which is our Waller's remasters. So Mr. Rick Waller is in the chat. This is our piece that is dedicated to him.
Okay.
I can't remember how long ago it was that Rick came on the channel. It was one of those weird moments on the internet where Rick Waller came up in a chat while we were streaming and ended up reaching and finding. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Either way, Rick Waller is a massive gamer. He's a really solid guy. And he picked 3 games that he thought would be good for a remaster or a remake. And we have kind of continued with that. So everyone that comes on has to pick up to 3 games that they think need to be remastered or remade for... Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, a remake or a remaster for a modern generation. What is your pick?
So... Okay, I thought of a second one. I was okay. First choice, Jet Set Radio. I loved that game so hard, and I feel like it's not been reimagined or anything even close to that kind of tomfoolery anywhere. Everyone bums on about the Tony Hawk's games, and they were fine. But Jet Set Radio is where it's at. I would love to see a new Jet Set Radio game, and then I would very much like, for my own selfishness, a Breath of Fire, either remake or another game. I think Capcom did like a mobile game for the 6th one, which flopped. And when I met them at Versus and I asked them very kindly, I asked Capcom, please, can we have one more? And they said, absolutely not. So there's no plans whatsoever for another Breath of Fire game. You know, when you just feel like the inner child just give up.
Yeah.
So that was a shame. But I think just purely selfish reasons, I'd love to see a new Breath of Fire game. I think with the love of sort of Sea of Thieves and No Man's Sky and all that kind of jazz, Skies of Arcadia would do really well as a remake now. But yeah, ultimately, I'm going to stick with Jet Set Radio as my first choice. Good
choice. Very good choice. Mr. Tolkien in the chat there agreeing with you that Jet Set is good. And Mr. Blunners, who was in there, he's also a big Jet Set fan. So yeah, that's a
thank you. I loved that game.
Very solid choice. And the last one is our Liam's Love to Hate, which is dedicated to Mr. Liam McGuff, who also is a really how that came about as him on the chat was a very strange thing, but that also happened. And we got onto the topic of talking about games that are, in contrast to what we were saying earlier, games that are terrible, but you keep playing because you love them. So it's pap, but it's actually, there's something about it that you can't stop playing.
No, you just love. My big thing at the moment is Columns 3.
Okay.
Specifically Columns 3 for the 2-player mode. And I have a couple of friends that every time they come round, I'm like, I don't really care what you're here for. Let's play Columns. And I just love it. We were playing the Mega Drive collection, and every time we just play Sonic 2. I was like, I should probably look what else is on here. What else is a good co-op 2-player multiplayer game? I went through so much stuff. And nothing really stuck. And then we got on Columns, and there's every now and again, for no reason whatsoever, the music just speeds up, and every time we panic, and every time I laugh my head off. I don't know if it counts as a rubbish game because it's like a staple in gaming history, but yeah, Columns, man, not Tetris. I'm not interested in that. Columns 3 specifically is my jam right now.
Specifically 3. I don't think anyone has ever said Columns 3. So there's.
Well, that's the good thing about these things we do. Every time we get a different, people's favorite games are always different. People's love to hates are different. The remasters are different. So many good gaming recommendations because everyone brings something else to the
table. They do. And before we look to close it all off, I feel like I've got to address it just purely because we mentioned it right at the beginning. There's never been, I think, 3 people on our channel on a stream where we can all say that we love JRPGs and Final Fantasy and that kind of thing, because yeah, we're sort of split down the middle on Team RGR. We've got 5 of us. I think Ryan probably doesn't give a shit, so he could be in the middle. He's the middle ground. We've got me and Tim. Like Final Fantasy 7 is our favorite game of all time, and then Blunners and Dorbs are not particularly into it whatsoever. Dorbs venomously so hates Final Fantasy 7,
really?
Like with a vengeance. Yeah.
Is there a reason?
It's not
I
his
think
thing.
I don't think he likes turn-based battle systems or any of like the he thinks it's trash. So that's as far as his explanation will go. He doesn't like anything with a cutscene. So if it's not, he wants to be able to skip the cutscenes and he wants to do everything in real time.
How do you? Maybe you can settle an argument for me. Did you play many of the Fire Emblem games?
I have not played many at all, unfortunately.
Okay.
I kind of got big into RPGs from really, I think probably it wasn't the first one I played, but Final Fantasy 7 was one that got me really into them. And I kind of stuck with Final Fantasy. I've done a few other things like Breath of Fire and what's that? Xenogears was another one and things like that.
Yeah,
one that I've never played actually, that I've got on one of my emulators that I do want to sit down and play through is it Sudoku 2?
Oh yeah.
A lot of people say that's like one of the best ones. Suikoden. I've never played it. I was like, a lot of people say that is meant to be one of the best ones, and I've never touched it. So I'm going to have to do that.
Alundra as well on the PlayStation.
Yes, really Alundra's good. Yeah, I really like Alundra. That was on one of my lists. I did a thing of a video for like 5 PlayStation games you might not have played, and I stuck Alundra on there. Nice. It's a definitely good recommendation, Alundra.
Yeah, that's got to be done. I came to Dragon Quest really late, really late, and the Dragon Quest 11 on PS4 was I enjoyed it, but the music, I think specifically for the PlayStation version, is not great. When you play like the Switch version or anything else, the music's like full orchestra, but it's not for the PlayStation version for some reason, and it plays the same sort of 4 or 5 songs pretty solidly on repeat for about 20 hours, and it just got to the point. This was during lockdown as well. So there'd be periods of the day where I'd just sort of be like, right, fuck it, I'm just going to have a really long lunch and play Dragon Quest for a few hours. And my wife was working in the kitchen. I was working and playing games in the living room. And all I could just hear in the kitchen was that fucking song. And you just forget that I'm not in my own little world here. So yeah, Dragon Quest was one I came to super late. But yeah, you mentioned Pokemon as well. Like Pokemon games, they're
we didn't talk about
ridiculously RPG. They're for loads of people that say, "Oh, I don't like RPGs." Okay, cool. So what game are you playing at the minute? Oh, Pokemon. You're like, it's a fucking RPG. What are you doing?
It couldn't be anymore.
I tell you one I really enjoyed.
It's literally turn-based.
You played Ni no Kuni or Ni no Kuni 2?
No, I'm a huge Ghibli fan, and I haven't played them.
Very good. I've only played 2, so I've not played the first one yet. But the first one's on Game Pass, I think. It's quite a time.
Mascots. Like, was it Drippy in the first one?
Drippy. Yep.
Wow.
I think it's one of those games. It's quite a lot of time to dedicate to it, but it's just it's a really fun game. And the thing about Ni no Kuni 2 is that you do all these little side quests for people, but you're building a kingdom. And then, like, when you actually go to your kingdom, you can go into the town, you can walk around, talk to people, and it's all people that you've met and done something for. So you'll help someone sort something out, and the end of their quest line is like they're going to open up a fish market, and now you have a fish market in your town, and you can go to them to buy fish and things like that. So that as the kingdom gets bigger and bigger, you get to a point where you're just walking around. It's like all of these characters because you've done like a side. Yeah, you've made friends with these people and invited them to your kingdom, and they move in and set up a shop, and you level everything up. Yeah, it's just a very rewarding game. You're constantly getting all these little bits. Yeah, it's a fun little game.
Man, so are there any RPGs that you would recommend to someone that isn't maybe something mainline or massive? Because obviously we've all mentioned Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy.
That I haven't already banged on about. There's a really good series called Atelier Iris on the PlayStation 2. They did 1, 2, and 3 on the PlayStation 2. They're beautiful games. I was very lucky to meet one of the voice actors a few years ago, Vic Mignogna. He voiced in like a Full Metal Alchemist, Attack on Titan. He's a huge anime voice actor, and I took the game, and he was like, "Oh my god, no one's ever heard of this game," and he was so happy signing it for me, which is very sweet. I recommend those; they're really good. What else have we got over here? We were talking about, they've just re-released it on the Switch, actually. It's called Base and Katos. So I played that on the GameCube. That's like a card-based battle system. So it's open world, running around, you battle the different monsters and level up and everything. But you play with cards and you get different card combos. So the cards to begin with will just have like 2 numbers on them. So you'll have like 3 and 4 in one corner. And you can combo it with other cards that match up. And it sounds horrendous, and I hate math. I can't tell you why I loved this game so much. But you could literally just like all the cards that had a 2 in the same place, you can smash them together and make a big monster and stuff like that. That was really good. And they've just re-released it on the Switch. I haven't played it on the Switch yet, but I'm going to go back and play it on the GameCube again to show people what it looked like back in the day. That was really good. There was something else I just thought about as well.
I'll tell you one I really like.
Star games. Did anyone play the Fantasy Star games?
Fantasy Star. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That is a franchise that seems to have, I don't know, like my son plays Fantasy Star Online 2. Is it 2? I don't know. It looks fucking banana. It looks fucking bananas. Like it's way over my head.
What's he playing it on?
PC.
No way. Well, there's a whole new avenue for my Twitch. I was like, no way, he's still online.
He's Master Race. I will get it wrong, and he'll fucking kill me for saying it wrong.
I wouldn't know anyway. It's been about 5-10 years since I last played it.
Fantasy Star.
And it's probably changed. If it's still online, it will look nothing like the game that I used to love.
Oh yeah, it's. I'll share the screen. It's absolutely like it's night and day what it is now. Is it New Genesis? Maybe. Yeah, that must be it. Let me share this. It's sort of a bit like Pacific Rim in terms of what they look like, but that's a big tick for me. I couldn't get into something like this because I would lose my life if I got into something like this. So I think this is what the new one looks like.
Oh wow. It looks very Sword Art Online, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's watching him play it. The whole thing is just
Genesis. Well, there's my mind blown. I had no idea they were still doing things with Fantasy Star. So that's very exciting.
It's nothing like what it was, but
no,
but very cool nonetheless. Okay, yes. Tim, you go for it, but then I'm going to bring in as well.
I've got one more title I want to throw out there, which was Shadow Hearts. Do you ever play Shadow Hearts?
Shadow Hearts, what a banger! Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah,
I did enjoy Shadow Hearts. I've only played the first one, but I think there's a few. I think there's like 3 or 4.
There's definitely 3. It was one of my best friend's favorite games when we were younger, and I remember for Valentine's Day I stood outside a house with the boombox with Alice's song playing, like a proper loser. But yeah, we loved those games. Such good games.
Right, so Dorbs has he's got very strong opinions obviously on Final Fantasy VII. He's just chucked another one in the chat, and I think yes, this is going to be an interesting one because me and him think very differently about this game as well. Have you played Death Stranding?
I haven't, no. So this again with the whole Twitch thing, the last game that I have bought would be the last 2 years of War Games. I have been so far out of the gaming world. I mean, I've watched it all, stayed mostly up to Outlast. Actually, I played the Outlast games when they redid them, but I haven't bought or played anything. Specifically, I've not owned a PlayStation for years besides my PlayStation 2. I had a PS3 for a bit, but I never played it. My ex had a PlayStation 4, so we played a couple of things on there, like what was one with the big dog, the big beautiful,
with the big dog,
the little kid,
and the big dog Last Guardian.
Yes, we played that. That was probably the last thing that I bought and played outside of the Switch. So, you know, I haven't played Death Stranding, and I'm aware of it. Obviously, Norman Reedus and everything, but
So Dorbs' one is don't bother. It's trash. You're a courier on foot. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I got. You delivering? Is it like a baby in a bubble?
Your baby is attached to you, yes, at all times, and that helps you slip between weird dimensions. It's a thing. It's
okay.
But it is a walking simulator. At heart, it is a walking simulator. You walk from A to B and deliver post, which sounds really dull and guff. So I can absolutely understand why Dorf didn't like it. Unlike Final Fantasy VII, I actually see his opinion on this, and I accept his opinion. But I cried at the end of the game because it was just so. It was so emotional when it got to the end that you're walking towards the thing that's happening, and you're like, oh, man, do I have an option? Can I not do this? Like, do I have to? Oh my god! And then the thing happened. Oh my god, it broke my heart. Broke my heart. It's such a good game. But yeah,
the first. Go on, sorry.
No. It's just Dorbs' full review that you would see on a box there. Awful. Walking Mars and then 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Good review. The first proper RPG that I played was called Grand Stream Saga on the PlayStation 1. Again, I'd highly doubt if anyone ever played that, but that was similar. Right at the end, you have a choice to make, and it was one of those where you can try your hardest not to make the choice that you don't want to make, to try and save the person you want to save, essentially, and you just can't beat the game. You cannot finish the game. You have to pick the other option. With the other person, and I remember crying about that. So I heard about that.
It's got to be done. I love games that force you to make difficult choices. And I just, as awful as it sounds, I love games that like just really fuck with your emotions. I like
Gears of War.
Exactly. Last of Us and all this stuff that just really fucks with your head. Like Last of Us made me like burst into tears within the first 20 minutes. And you're like, how has this happened? This is just, oh man. 20 minutes into 20 minutes into a 10-hour game. Fuck. Yeah, great stuff though. Yeah, we need to do like a whole series of videos, I think, on games that make you cry, because I can think of at least 3.
Back for that one.
Yeah, I could think of at least 3. Just sort of looking up there now, like, oh man, like immediately my head's going, oh no. It's harsh. Right, Sammy, thank you so much for giving us almost an hour and a half of your time. It's been wonderful to speak to you and get to know you. And for anyone that is watching either live or finding this afterwards, we've got links to... Oh, is that your cat?
I was just going to get him because I said right at the start that you'll meet him and you haven't. So give him
go grab him.
Hey, babe. Oh... It's very important and you'll love it. Here he is. This is Odin. He's a big liar. He's the biggest.
He's a big cat.
The loveliest cat you'll ever meet. Here he is.
Ah, look at that face. Man, that is the most dog-like cat ever. Like, I don't know a cat that would let you pick him up and cuddle them and stuff. That's...
Bless him. It's only because he's tired. Give him 2 seconds and he'll realise there's something going on the screen. He features quite heavily on Twitch because he loses his mind and pulls the screen off the wall and knocks the camera off and all sorts. So we've got him in a sleepy mood.
He's lovely.
He is a bit. There we go.
Oh wow, massive cat. That would absolutely... I mean, I'm horrendously allergic. I like cats, but I'm horrendously allergic to cats.
Are you?
Yeah, it's like throat swelling, eye throb. Yeah, it's a mess. So as much as I would love to cuddle that cat, it's like, no, that would kill me, I think.
Yeah. Of all the things that have happened in my life, I'm glad I'm not allergic to cats.
Yeah. Unfortunately, by default, I'm just a dog person, but that's just because if I had a cat, it wouldn't work. It's literally not them, it's me. Cool. Right. Sammy, again, thank you so much.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Not at all.
You were trying to leave.
Drag it in with the cat. So yeah, for anyone watching, we've got links to Sammy's Twitch in the description. We've also got links to Sammy's Instagram there as well. Please head on over to those various things. Give her a follow, give her a like, give her a sub on Twitch. I think the usual spiel is if you've got Amazon Prime, you can sub for free. So it's got to be done. See, I'm doing all of that for you there.
Thank you. You don't even have to sub to me right now because I'm not affiliate yet. I've only been there a week. So.
Okay. Head on over. Let's get that working. Let's make it happen. And for anyone new here, consider hitting that subscribe button for us because that helps us out a ton. And if you do watch the video, give it a little thumbs up as well because then we know that you've been here and left your mark. And as ever, I am the professional because I can't find the outro.
You need to get in your mouse as well, don't you?
This mouse isn't too bad now. I put new batteries in my old one rather than the wired one. So yeah, we're working. But yeah, just thank you again, Sammy. Hopefully we'll make it up to Manchester sometime.
Such a lovely time.
That's been wonderful to have you on. I think me and Tim will definitely be at Timeless next year. So even if it takes until August, there's a very high chance we will see you at Timeless next year.
Lovely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Really, really good. So just thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you all next time. So good evening.
Thanks.